check one, check. Check one,
Yes.
check.
Okay,
This takes 30 seconds.
okay, no, this is perfect. So, Rich. Where is
Check one, check.
okay, no, this is perfect. So, Rich.
What microphone are you on?
That's the question.
You're not wearing it, so.
No.
You are.
My phone is picking me up,
Okay,
but why was it looping back the sound?
because my phone's on. I have to turn my phone out. There.
Oh,
You're hearing
it was, yes, you're right.
that,
You're
and
right.
then
That's
you're
what I was
also
hearing.
hearing your phone.
Okay.
Either you turn your phone down.
Yeah.
I'll keep mine, you'll turn your Get things out. We can get it that.
It's true. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It's so great to be here at Or Hadash and in all of your homes tonight. I want to give a big shout out of thanks to Rich, who is here on the chat today. He'll be our greeter digitally, saying Shabbat Shalom to everyone, letting me know who's here, actually and helping to announce page numbers and things like that in the Siddur. And also he'll share tonight our names for Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, and Kaddish. But first, I want to invite you to, as you come in tonight, share your name and where you're joining us from tonight so that we can build a little bit of community here at Or Hadash on this evening that is also, in fact, I heard a rumor, there are folks who are celebrating tonight a different holiday and a different religion, Christmas Eve. So to everyone who is doing Chinese and then services and a movie, Shabbat Shalom, Merry Christmas. And so, Rich, who are we saying Shabbat Shalom to today?
We are saying Shabbat Shalom to Sharon Starr.
Hey, Sharon. Shabbat Shalom. And so let's begin the lighting of our Shabbat candles together on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Yada-dun-dai-dai-dai, yada-dun-dai-dai-dai, yada-dun-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dun-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dun-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dun-dai-dai-dai, yada-dun-dai-dai-dai, yada-dun-dai-dai-dai. Page 7. Yedid nefesh avarahaman mishoch avdecha el retzonecha yarut avdecha kemo hayal yishtachaveh el mol hadarecha teravlo yedidutecha mino fetuf vechol tahamayay yadadai 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 last verse. Yigalena ufros chavivi alai et sukat shalomecha tayeret michvodecha nagila v'nismecha bach Ma'erahu Tiva Moed V'choneni Ki me'olam Ma'yayay Yadadai 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 Ruth and Jules and Taco, Shabbat Shalom. It's great to be here with you tonight. Please take a second, if you haven't already, to introduce yourself in the chat, share your name, where you're joining us from tonight. And I want to say that if my sound is a little bit more echoey and cavernous than you might expect, I am using my phone tonight to stream because it seems that there's some bandwidth issues with either our internet at the synagogue, but I think it's actually probably Zoom and YouTube and things like that. Because as I'm thinking about it, I'm realizing that on Christmas Eve, when it is Shabbat, we likely have almost every single church in the country, as well as every synagogue, competing for server space as we have Erev Shabbat services. And do they call it Erev Christmas? Right, Christmas Eve services, final tech tests for midnight mass, early midnight mass. Is it like the tot service? So I want to thank everyone if there are any blips and glitches and things like that, as I'm sure that just like on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and last year, churches on Easter, that the servers are being tested as we gather here together to daven on this evening, whether it be a holy evening because it's Christmas Eve or whether it be a holy evening because Shabbat is coming in. We welcome in Shabbat that neshama yetera, that extra soul piece with Shalom Aleichem on page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni leShalom, Malachei Hashanim, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When we rise in spirit or in body on page 37. For Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid. Havul Adonai b'nei Elim. Havul Adonai. Kavod va'oz. Havul Adonai kevat shemosh. Havul Adonai b'chadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai ha'amayim. El kavod hirim. Adonai. Almayim rabim. Kol Adonai. Kol Adonai be'adar. Kol Adonai shober harazim. Vaishaber Adonai et arsei Almanon. Vayarkidem k'mo egel Lebanon. Besirion kemo ve're'emi mayai. Kol Adonai chotzev lahakotesh. Kol Adonai Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh kol Adonai cholel hayalot vayechesov yeharot uvehechalot kulo omer kavodai Adonai lama yashav yishev Adonai melech haolam Adonai oz le'am yitin Adonai yevorech et amur shalom Yai 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 nai nai Yai 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 nai nai yai nai nai Yai 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Jeff and Jerry.
And Shabbat Shalom to Jeff and Jerry.
Oh, Zoom, he says? That smile is
Yes, there are in fact masked smiles tonight because we are hybrid in our sanctuary. Socially distanced, aren't we, Rich?
Yes, we are.
And socially distanced all the way to your home. So masked smiles on this Erev Shabbat. So I want to know, as we get ready for Lecha Dodi on page 41, and we prepare to welcome the Shabbat bride, what is your family's Jewish Christmas tradition? Whether it's something that you've already done today, whether it's something that usually takes place tomorrow, whether it's something that took place weeks and weeks ago, like purchasing toys and donating them to Toys for Tots or something else, whether it's something that you partner with a family who's not Jewish, and you guys all get together and light the Chanukiah for Hanukkah, and you trim the tree in their home for Christmas. I certainly have a tradition like that with my childhood dear best friend Diana, and we just had Christmas dinner at her in-laws' house, a pre-Christmas dinner 2 nights ago, a ritual that started when she and I were little kids in Washington, D.C., that now takes place because she lives in Pittsburgh and I live in Philly, at her in-laws' house in Exton, and now includes spouses and our kids exchanging Christmaka and Hanukkah presents. The rabbi and her Catholic best friend from growing up. And so what is your family's Jewish Hanukkah tradition, Jewish Christmas tradition? And perhaps, in fact, you're in a blended family, and part of your tradition is celebrating Christmas with Christian members of your family, helping their holiday to be just a little bit sweeter with your presence. So do share in the chat what your Christmas tradition is, as we welcome in the Shabbat bride, as we welcome Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on page 41. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei penei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Shalor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el ha'meyuchad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litula la 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha. Ki mekor haberacha merosh mikadem bisucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Page 45. Hitoreri Kiva orech kumi uri shir daveri kevod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha dodi likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Top of page 47. Yaminu smol tifrotzi, v'yet Adonai ta'aritzi, al yadish ben partzi, ben ismecha v'nagi la 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 chatoti, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela, l'chal chatoti, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. We rise as we face the entrances in spirit or in body of our homes, of our sanctuaries, of our dens, our family rooms, our dining rooms. Boi v'shalom ateret kala, gam besimcha u'betzola, tov emuneh yam sekula, boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela, la 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 la, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela, woo, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela.
So, let's see. Jules says,
Yes. So let me hand it over to Rich
hello.
to share some of our holiday traditions.
Yes, Jules says, normally we would go to the movies, but this year and last year, movies are at home. Thanks to the Craig Tubman tune, and we'll also carry our daughters-in-law call our daughters-in-law to wish them a Merry Christmas.
Nice.
And Jeff and Jerry are done typing, so we don't have a Christmas tradition. For me, Jeff, it's been how best to insulate myself from the Christmas onslaught without being a drip. I'll work on non-Shabbat. This year, I'll do Shabbat.
Nice. When Christmas falls on Shabbat, actually, I don't remember the last time Christmas has fallen on Shabbat. I feel like it must be how does leap year work? Every 4 years, and then it would jump another day forward. So it must be what, every 5 to 6 years? That Christmas Eve, Christmas Day falls exactly on Shabbat. And it's interesting because it gives us something specific to do. When it's on a Monday night, Tuesday, a Tuesday night, Wednesday, a Wednesday night, Thursday, a Thursday night, Friday, right? That it's like this extra bonus day off. It's how all of my friends who are teachers must feel on Rosh Hashanah when they all go to Six Flags. But this year we have the opportunity to Shabbos together on this day. Yeah, Rich.
Say be heard. So basically, my Christmas tradition now is not to be to be with a lot of my new friends and family, who are my family. So I've been talking to, I've talked to a priest. That's pretty interesting to see how he gets prepared for the holiday. And then I've talked to a number of friends who are going to services tonight and tomorrow. And then they're being with family and they're getting all in their heads about all kinds of stuff. And so it is actually a tricky time.
Yeah.
For a lot of people who are struggling with their relationships with God, with themselves, and with others. So that can make it kind of slippery for some people.
Yeah.
But I'm there for friends.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Well, since this year we have a Shabbat to celebrate, let's celebrate that. It's Psalm 92. One sec, Jules. On what?
Jules, we bought Chinese food for lunch and we'll eat leftovers for lunch tomorrow.
Very nice.
To wish them a Merry Christmas.
Oh, nice. I love that. And so our Psalm for Shabbat, page 49, Psalm 92. Mizmor shir le'yom ha'Shabbat, tov lehodod la'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, כי שמחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך רנן, מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד, עמקו מחשבותיך, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Page 51 at the asterisk. צדיק אתה אמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון ישגש תולים, בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ינובון בסבא, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד ישר אדוני צורי, ולא עוולה תבוא. By my count, it feels like we're just slightly under a minyan. I think that in my mind, it seems to be hovering around 7. Can everyone just type into the chat the number of Jewish adults that are in earshot of this service? You don't need to name names or anything like that. Just type in the number of Jewish adults that we've got. Adonai Malachi Lavish Lavish Adonai Ozita Sahara Fikon Tevel Beltimon. Edotecha ne'emnehu me'od leveitecha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim.
Got 5.
5, 6, 7. So I was exactly right. So I want to invite you to rise in spirit or in body for as we bless, and then we'll go straight into Mariv Aravim, jumping over the Baruch Hu. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision unclear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. We can be seated. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Oreyom balayla, kulel or mipnei choshech, kulel or mipnei choshech. Or roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light.
Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Yom balayla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech. בחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום מביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אלא חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני אמר יברבים page 63 אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו קומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. יהם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נהגי יומם בלילה, נהגי יומם בלילה, באהבתך לא תסור, ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו Israel. Page 65, Shema. Close our eyes, we open our ears. We try to hear the still small voice. Notice how the creaks in our homes, the rustling, the crackling of a fire, a rush of wind, how these small sounds, like the voice of the divine, connects each and every one of us across space, time. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך והיה עם שמות. We continue silently with one of the two biblical selections that follows.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Rabbi, I just want to mention that.
Yeah.
It was brought up by Jules that if anybody would need to say Kaddish tonight,
Yes.
he could make some phone calls.
Yes.
And Jeff is alone, and Sharon can bring in
Steve?
Steve. So Jeff said he can get 2 more for Kaddish, so that would put us to 9.
Wonderful. So if anyone wants to, whether you are sharing it on traditional social media, the link to services tonight, or whether you're going to share it on some more personal media, reaching out to some friends, it would be great to bump our viewership, just to about 10 or so, so that when we get to Kaddish, we can make a minyan together. But we will, so keep us posted in the chat. And again, as you come into services tonight, Shabbat Shalom, and take a second to introduce yourselves. Share your name, where you're joining us from tonight, that you are here, so that we can count you in the minyan, and so that we can all be here together in one community. Because when we're sitting quietly watching on our screens, and we don't say hello or anything like that, we don't come together in the fullness of our community. So even if it's just a first name or a first initial, if you're uncomfortable in introducing your name in a public forum like this, to just share that you're here, so that we can all welcome one another and be here together. And as we approach Micha Mocha on page 77, our prayer for freedom, redemption, liberation, we know that none of those things, freedom, redemption, liberation, are things that we can achieve on our own, but rather only as part of a community who cares about moving forward towards those goals, certainly, but even more so, a community who cares for one another. Because when we struggle towards those goals, when we leave people behind, no matter how close we get, no matter how on paper it seems like we've gotten there, we never truly arrive. And so we come together as community, moving towards that constant hope for collective liberation, and in celebration of moments of liberation in our ancient and our ancient past, our contemporary moment. Micha Mocha, page 77 to 79. Malchuto beratzon, kiblu alehem Moshe uMiriam, uvnei Yisrael lechanu, shirav simcha rabah ve'ameru kulam. Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai. Mika mocha, Mika mocha, Mika mocha, Mika mocha, Mika mocha, Mika mocha, Nedar bakodesh nora, tehilot oseh eleh, nora, tehilot oseh eleh. Malchutecha, Rovanecha, Bokei Hayam, Lifnei Moshe ze Eli, Anu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch leolam, Ba'ed Adonai imloch leolam, Ba'ed v'nemar, Ki fadad ma'et Yaakov, Ugalum yad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom, Amidenu Malkeinu leChaim, page 81. Ufros aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shalom Echa. Ufros aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shalom Echa. Spread over us the shelter of your peace.
Sukkot Shelmecha Ushmor Tzetzenu V'enu L'chaim U'Lishalom Me'ata Ve'ad Olam Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha Baruch Atah Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 83, we read together below the line. Well, below the line. When fears multiply and danger threatens, when sickness comes and death confronts us, it is God's blessing of shalom that sustains us and upholds us, lightening our burden, dispelling our worry, restoring our strength, renewing our hope, reviving us. That promise of shalom combined with this gift of Shabbat, this 25-hour oasis in time. Rabbi Heschel called it a palace in time, that we carve out the time to dwell within. That respite, that gift. We honor that gift as we rise in spirit or in body for Vishamru on page 85. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We continue on page 91, or beginning on page 91, silently with the Amidah for Shabbat evening, beginning together. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Ananana Svatai Tiftach. Ananana Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
I just want to mention Jeff.
Yes, Rich.
Jeff posted that he said Herschel Matt to Heschel. That's what I have here. So
Okay.
asking if that's two people.
No, I think that he's talking about an oasis in time and a palace in time, Shabbat. But Jeff, you can clarify. So we've come to that moment in our service where we come out of our inward most moment of the silent Amidah into our most outward and public facing moment, our Mishaberach L'Cholim, our prayer for healing and wholeness. And so I want to invite you to share in the chat the names of those who you're thinking of for healing: healing of body, healing of mind, healing of spirit. Tonight, of course, in this Shabbat, I am noticing how many more of us are online than on site. There is so much illness around us right now. So I'm acutely aware, at least in my own life, of the illness that creeps in through the seams. I'm adding to the Mishaberach list tonight my brother, Sam Sklover, who thankfully has a very mild case of COVID. And all of those throughout our school system, our teachers, our students, all of our coworkers, everyone who we know and everyone who we don't know, that we do not want to allow to be a number, a statistic, but a person on an ever-expanding national, global Mishaberach list. So I want to invite you to share names in the chat of folks you know, whether they are in need of healing of body from COVID or from anything else, healing of mind, healing of spirit, especially in this week where so many's travel plans were canceled, opportunities to visit loved ones who they haven't seen in quite some time. A lot of us are in need of healing of the spirit right now. And so we'll sing our Mishaberach L'Cholim, and we'll pause in between the verses, and Rich will hand me the chat so that I can read the list of names that we've compiled together, all of those in our hearts for healing tonight. Mishaberach Avotenu, Makor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. This evening, we're thinking of and sending our hopes and our energy to Sam Sklover, Dorothy Berlin, Fran Anderson, Rob Johnson, Doug Proudman, Glenn Upjohn, Marty Applebaum, Marcia Friend, Adam Chevitt Goldman, Patrick Gibson, Shlomo Ben Avram Vachaya, Dan Paulette,
Eric Griffin Shelley, Dave Chapman, and Hugh Stevenson.
Rhoda Gansler, all of those recovering from COVID, all of those. All of those who are still recovering from the tornadoes in the South and in the Midwest, and also here in Fort Washington from earlier in the fall. Makor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. On page 119, we turn from our prayers for healing to our prayer for celebration, where we raise our glass filled to the brim with sweet, sweet grape juice. It's become our custom at Or Hadash to invite people to share something sweet that is going on in your lives. A birthday, a graduation, a milestone in sobriety, a book publication, anything that is exciting to you that you want to add to our cup of sweetness tonight. I want to share that Christmas Eve is my friend Scout's birthday, so Shabbat birthday to Scout. And are there others who want to add something to this cup? Oh, we wish a b'sha'a tova to Doris Young, who often joins us here online. I imagine she's not going to be joining us here online this week or the next 2 weeks. She is not only Bina's teacher, but very, very close to giving birth. So hopefully we'll have good news there, but it is very, very sweet that we sent her off into winter break to, God willing, poo, not see her again until April, as she's getting ready to b'sha'a tova, give birth. Are there others?
I will add that.
Yes, Rich?
Hugh Stevenson, who's been on my list for a few weeks, has had his surgery and is doing very well.
Awesome. A l'chaim for recovery from surgery to Hugh. And so we raise up our glass to overflowing with sweetness. And if there are others that come in, we'll announce them after Kiddush as we rise in spirit or in body for Kiddush on page 119. Savri Chaverai. Oh, I could hear you guys all at home. Crazy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maseh bereshit ki hu yom techilah lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki eleinu parata v'otanu kidashta la'avodatecha v'shabbat kodshecha be'ava u'ratzon yinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. L'chaim. I have a nose. Who knew? L'chaim. And we remain in this very, very position as we turn the page to page 121 for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabech Adon ha'olam tetzitula le'otzer breshit shenatan lanu Torah tanan v'chayolam nata b'tocheinu v'anachnu korim u'mishtachim modim lifnei melech malchei hamolachim hakadosh baruch hu. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We can be seated. We turn to page 131 for Mourner's Kaddish. And I want to double check before Kaddish. I mean, either way, we're going to read the list. But just a quick check. If you are here tonight, can you just type into the chat the number of, I don't know, let's just say Jewish folks ages 13 and up who are within earshot of this service, so that we can support one another in having a minyan for Kaddish. But either way, let's read our list of folks who are, folks for whom we are observing a Yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing on this Shabbat. And this week at Or Hadash, we remember Glenda Crabb, mother of Melissa Crabb, Joseph Cooper Smith, father of Stephen Cooper Smith, Barnett Lieberman, father of Edith Lane, Minna Salem, mother of Lucy Raisman, Martin Schmuckler, father of Anita Schmuckler, Maurice Lewis, father-in-law of Sandy Lewis, Jerry Markovitz, wife of Max Markovitz, Freddie Oil, cousin of Joe Adler, and Pearl Oil, aunt of Joe Adler. And I'm sorry to share the passing of the mother of Vivian Kane this morning at about 2:30 a.m. The funeral is going to be out of town in Buffalo, New York, where Vivian's father is also buried. They're going to return for Shiva, which will be online Wednesday night and Thursday night. The funeral is going to be Tuesday afternoon in Buffalo. More information will go out right after Shabbat. Arrangements are still firming up, and that'll include a link to the Zoom. And they're still figuring out whether the funeral itself will be live streamed or whether it will be only in-person graveside in Buffalo. And so it seems like we perhaps are at the number 9, which is enough to be able to say Kaddish. If we all rise in spirit or in body, as our heart is opened, inviting in the divine presence here through the words that hold our people together, connecting us hopefully collectively to a 10th person somewhere joining our minyan for Mourner's Kaddish. And also, if you're saying Kaddish for someone tonight whose name is not on our list, I want to invite you to share their name in the chat also so that we can call them all to heart and to mind this evening. Mourner's Kaddish, page 131. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah. Ve'alma tivra firutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'yomechon u'v'chayei kol beit Yisrael. V'agala u'bizman hariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabah v'barach le'olam v'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yitalev, v'yithalal, shemek, v'kudsha, v'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, chush b'chata v'nechamata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, ve'el kol yoshvei tevel. Imru. Amen. Zichronam libracha. May their memories be for a blessing. And we also add to our list tonight Esther Murrow.
And we can be seated as the art is closed. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
And a huge thanks to folks who gathered a few extra folks to make a minyan for Kaddish tonight. Yasher Koach. So I want to just a couple of brief messages. This week Shabbat continues tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Torah study here in the sanctuary and also here on Zoom, hybrid at 9 a.m. and Shabbat service much the same way at 10 a.m. There is no Torah school this Sunday. We are on winter break. There is Monday night Torah study. There is also Minyan Hadash every morning except Shabbat morning at 8:15 a.m. on Zoom, an opportunity to say the Mishaberach prayer for healing and Kaddish, but also an opportunity to come together, to learn, to laugh, to share a little bit, a different topic every day, led by a member of Or Hadash or myself. It's a minyan unlike any other morning minyan, because we bring the content each morning, but also hold the space every morning for those who need to say Kaddish and for us all to come together in hope of healing and wholeness for everyone who's in need. So join us at 8:15 each morning except Shabbat morning for Minyan Hadash. Also, next Friday night, New Year's Eve at 7:30 p.m., our service will be hybrid, much like this, YouTube live stream on site here at Or Hadash. If you are on site here at Or Hadash, I will have a bottle of champagne and a bottle of Martinelli's. And yes, Jules, I have the sparklers. After services, we are going to go out to, even if it's freezing cold out, the patio and do a little l'chaim on some sparkling cider or some champagne to toast to the New Year Seculari, to the Gregorian New Year, and some sparklers. So please do consider coming next week. You could also BYO sparkler at home and BYO bubbly at home and join for Toast for the New Year digitally. And so that's next Friday night here at Or Hadash and wherever it is that Or Hadash gathers in our living rooms, dens, dining rooms, basement, rec rooms, all of those things. And I believe that those are all of the, oh yes, the last thing is Shabbat morning, New Year's Day. We are still a little on the fence as to whether we're going to do hybrid or just all online, whether we're going to have folks coming here or not on New Year's Eve, on New Year's Day morning. If you know that you're coming to Torah study and that morning, please let us know. We want to make sure that we have a minyan for people saying Kaddish. And we also kind of want to know how many people are coming to Torah study on New Year's Day before we get there. I love to study Torah. I love even more to study Torah with people, whether they're on site or online. So if you have a strong vote about this, please do let me know, or more importantly, let Sharon Starr, who's one of our, sorry about that, Sharon. Let Sharon Apple, who's one of our co-chairs of Spiritual Life, don't contact Sharon Starr. She's not taking the tally. Contact Sharon Apple, one of our co-chairs of Spiritual Life, to let her know your vote for Torah study, whether it should be hybrid and have an in-person component or just entirely online on New Year's Day morning, the first of the new year.
On behalf of Evelyn, I would say that if anybody has the inclination to make soup.
Oh, yes, yes.
Contact Sharon Starr, I'm assuming.
Ah, yes, that's a great announcement. Yes, as it is almost January. Thank you. There was one other announcement. Martin Luther King Day of Service is happening this year. Details will come out shortly. MLK Day also happens to coincide this year with Tu B'Shvat. So we are going to be doing Martin Luther King Day of Service on an environmental justice theme. Again, more to come from Maura Barbara and our Social Action Tikkun Olam chairs in the next few weeks. But our Martin Luther King Junior soup drive is on. You can come to Or Hadash and pick up your soup making kit to take home so that you can make up those big pots of soup and fill quarts for folks in need, folks who are food insecure, folks who are shut in. And every year, really, we make as a community hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of quarts of soup to help those who are in need of a warm meal. So please do, anytime between now and Martin Luther King Jr. Day, come into the synagogue and grab a soup making kit. And there's information about the different houses that you can drop them off at this year. Thanks. And so before we sign off and say Shabbat Shalom, we're going to conclude with Adon Olam on page 133. And yes, I know, I was not one of those rabbis who took Christmas Eve as the opportunity to daven all of our service in Christmas carols. I'm sure there were colleagues who did, but let's not be a Scrooge either. Page 133. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'et nasa b'chefso kol azay malach shemo nikra ve'acharei kichot hakol levado limoch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu ho ve'hu yeh v'tifara ve'hu echad v'yein sheni lahamshilo lehachbira ve'li reshit ve'li tachlid ve'lo hahoz v'hamisra ve'hu eli v'chai goali v'tzorchav li b'hetzara Vehu nisi hu manos limat kosi beyom ekra. Oh, beyado afkid ruchi b'etishan ve'aira. Ve'im ruchi geviati adonai velo yira. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra. Li'ed nasa b'chefso kol azay malach shemo nikra. Shabbat Shalom from our home here at Or Hadash to all of your homes. Shabbat Shalom. Have a safe and warm weekend full of family, joy, peace, and rest. Shabbat Shalom.
I'll read you my chat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Shabbos.